Today, we are sponsored by the Airway Kingdom Network. Feel free to check out the following content: What's Up Bro, Three Amigos, and J&J Productions. Feel free to check out those great content today.
Network 3000 presents.
Hello everyone, I am David here, and welcome to the next episode of the 3000 Hangouts here for today on the 15th of April 2026. And today we have two interviews for all of you to enjoy. We have our first interview with sports broadcaster Son Anderson, and the second one is Adam Giardino. I'm going to be talking to them about how they got into sports broadcasting, on how their journey went, and on with their favorite sports, and all the good stories that both of them have here for today. And also, of course, we'll also be doing the Unknown Jackpot in between. And that will be today's episode of the 3000 Handles for all of you to sit back, relax, and enjoy and listen to all these great conversations that we'll have here this evening. So, without further ado, let's get to the first interview right now. All right, everyone, it's now time for the next interview here on this program. And please welcome a minor league baseball broadcaster of the name of Son Arson. How are you doing, Son?
I'm good. How are you, David?
I'm doing good. And for those who don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm the play-by-play broadcaster for the St. Paul Saints, which is the AAA affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. This is my 20th season with the Saints, and
Oh,
my
nice.
26th season in minor league baseball as a whole.
And what made you decide to get into broadcasting in minor league baseball?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I wanted to get involved in necessarily minor league baseball. I think the goal for all of us is the major leagues. But
Not
I grew up.
not the Yankees.
No, yeah. But I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up listening to arguably the greatest broadcaster to ever live in Vin Scully,
uh,
along with many other great broadcasters. Chick Hearn for the Lakers, Bob Miller for the LA Kings. Those were my teams that I rooted for growing up, and those were the broadcasters I listened to. I realized at an early age that I was never going to be good enough to play professionally, and so I figured the next best thing would be to talk about it. And I've been on that path ever since I was probably like 8 or 9 years old.
what was the easiest and difficult paths to get your foot through the door?
Well, I'm not sure there was an easy path. I think it's all, um, it's all a grind. I don't know if I would say a struggle, but it's all a grind to get to where you are. There is no one path. My
Yeah.
path is not going to be the same path as somebody else. But I went to school at the University of Colorado at Boulder.
Okay.
Did an internship with the Colorado Springs Sky Sox, which at the time was the AAA affiliate of the Rockies.
Okay.
And then from there, I got my first ever job as a full-time broadcaster and media relations director, which is basically my title now, in Allentown, Pennsylvania, with a team that no longer exists. It was an independent league team, and I was there for 2 years. And then got a job in Fort Myers with the Fort Myers Miracle, who at the time were the high A affiliate of the Twins. They're now the single A affiliate of the Twins, but they're the high A affiliate, and I spent 4 years there. and then I landed the job, like I said, 20 years ago with the St. Paul Saints. So, I mean, it was all a grind. Nothing, I wouldn't say anything came easy. I was very
Yeah,
fortunate 2 years ago to make my major league debut, and I broadcast six Twins games in 2024. Came back last year and did 4 spring training games. And you hope you get another shot at some point.
absolutely. And um, how did you get into the game of baseball? And was that your favorite sport growing up, and still is?
Yeah, for sure. Again, growing up in Los Angeles, I was just a fan of all the LA teams,
Yeah,
and I don't know, I fell in love with the game of baseball. I played it growing up all the way through my junior year of high school, and I think it was really the only sport that I was, I don't know, adequately good at playing. I played a couple of years of basketball, but I that was basically in elementary school. I never played football. Never had any interest in doing that.
yeah,
Always thought I would love to try to play hockey, but I never learned how to ice skate. So, growing up playing baseball, it was the sport that I knew best. It was the sport I understood,
yeah,
and I love the chess match in the game of baseball. And like I said, it's been something I've been doing for the last now 26 years. It's been my entire career.
yeah. And with the Los Angeles teams you were for back then, do you still work for them now, or you don't have a favorite team anymore?
No, I still am a Dodger fan.
And an
Until
Angels fan as well?
say that again.
An Angels fan as well?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
growing up, I'm not an Angels fan. No, I mean, again, I'm
Oh,
just a
okay.
Dodgers fan. Yeah, no, just a Dodgers fan. Um, yeah, like I said, Dodgers, L.A. Lakers, L.A. Kings. Until I get
Oh, you meant the other sports. Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought you meant
yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you meant baseball. Both of the
No, no,
teams.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, just baseball, just the Dodgers. I'm a one team per sport guy, so I don't
Yeah.
root for multiple teams. Having said that, like I want to see the Twins do well. Obviously, I'm in their
Yeah.
organization. I know a lot of the guys that get called up, and I'd love to see them win a World Series. Just because, again, I know a bunch of the people in the front office, the players that come through us and go to the big leagues. Like I'd love to see them do well. And I kind of feel bad for the fan base in Minnesota who has not seen a championship team of any kind. And any Minnesotan will tell you this. They've not seen a championship in the 4 major sports because I do not want to
Oh,
shortchange. I don't want to shortchange the women's hockey team and the WNBA because they have carried the torch in Minnesota, but they have not seen a championship in the 4 major sports since 1991 when the Twins won it all. So
wow. Is that the only is that the only city that's done that?
that kind of a
Since
drought? That's a good question. I feel like yes. I think it is the longest drought of
for a
any
city,
city that's got at least the 4 major sports in it. So
that's heartbreaking.
yeah,
And not just that, they haven't won. Uh, well, before 2022, they didn't win a playoff game since like what
yeah,
2000 something. Can't remember.
yeah. I think it was like
Can't remember
18
exactly.
consecutive playoff losses. Yeah,
Yeah, that's just crazy. Of course,
yeah,
you always end up facing the Yankees. A majority of the time, but still, that's
true.
just bad luck right there.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what superstars from the Twins minor league organizations that have you called and seen become a big star in the major leagues?
That I've seen.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that you called.
yeah, we've been a AAA affiliate since 2021. So while I've been here for 20 years, we were an independent league team before that. So since 2021, we've had the likes of Royce Lewis, Luke
Oh,
Keyshaw.
nice.
Yeah, Luke Keyshaw played for us for a brief amount of time last year. Um, let's see who else. Trying to think. I would say those are the 2 biggest names. I mean, Matt Wallner played for us too. I don't want to shortchange Wallner. He's been great for them. Obviously, Buxton's been a Twin for a long time. He's done some rehab games for us, but he didn't come up and play for the Saints before he made his major league debut.
Uh huh.
But I would say I would say that those guys are probably the three biggest names that came up through the system and
Yeah,
reached the big leagues.
that's pretty cool. What are the players right now this year on your team that we should keep an eye on that could get called up this year?
Yeah, we've got four top 100 prospects in the game on this roster.
Hmm.
Walker Jenkins, Kalen Culpepper, Emmanuel Rodriguez, and Connor Prelip are the four top 100 guys on this roster that I think at some point will reach the major leagues. On top of that, I think it's a total of nine top 30 guys in the organization that are on this roster, and
Okay.
I think any of them can be called up at some point this year. Baseball teams can't survive an entire season just on five starting pitchers and um,
Yeah.
you know it, eight bullpen guys. So you're going to see a lot of pitchers that turn over and will get their opportunity. So I think a lot of the pitchers will get the opportunity to go up there, and whether it be for an extended period of time or not. I think at some point, Walker gets up there. I think at some point Emmanuel Rodriguez gets up there. At some point Kalen Culpepper gets up there. All those guys are position players, but I think all three of those guys at some point will have the opportunity to don a Twins uniform this year.
Very nice. And what do you think of the team so far? Going into today, do you think they're doing good here this far, or they need to improve in certain areas?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you ask anybody record-wise right now, we've underperformed. There's too much talent on this team. Um, we swept the opening series against Indianapolis. We're 3-0. Went home to face which Indianapolis is the Pirates AAA affiliate. Then we came home, played the Worcester Red Sox, who are the Boston Red Sox AAA affiliate. Got swept, lost all five games to them, and now we're in Toledo, taking on the Tigers AAA affiliate, and we lost the first game, won the second game, and then lost last night. So again, this is a team that's got a ton of talent on it, and it just have not clicked all together yet. But
Yeah.
I honestly believe that it's only a matter of time before they do and run off, five, six, seven, 8 wins in a row, and prove
Yeah.
exactly how good they are. Baseball America rated this team the best team in all of minor league baseball in terms of talent, prospects, all that sort of stuff. So
Uh,
again, there's talent on this team across the board.
yeah.
It has not gelled quite yet in the first couple of weeks of the season.
I'm still surprised that my Blue Sox swept your your team right there at home, especially under the situation of your team being number one ranked in the talent wise. Which I thought it was. I thought didn't the Dodgers have the number one farm system as well? I thought I heard
The
something
farm
like that.
system, yeah, farm system. This was just most talented team in all of minor
Oh,
league
oh,
baseball. So
okay,
they took like AAA teams, AA teams, and looked at all the prospects across the board and the talent that they had on it. So this is just individual teams, and so our team
okay,
was rated the number one team in terms of talent in all of minor league baseball.
okay, understood. And who is the manager of your team right now?
Yeah, Brian Dinkelman. So it's his first year. Dink's
Okay,
been in the Twins organization. He played in the Twins organization, and then has managed since I think it's 2019. He's the fifth winningest manager in all of minor league baseball since he became a manager.
yeah,
So he's been incredible. And before that, it was Toby Gardenhire, who Ron Gardenhire's son. But Toby wound up on Derek Shelton's staff this year in the major leagues. So Toby got the call up to the major leagues,
very
and
cool,
he had been our manager for the first 5 years of the organization as a AAA affiliate of the Twins.
very nice. So let's talk about the ballpark that you have.
Mhm.
Tell the people what is your favorite thing about the ballpark and why should people go check out the ballpark, even you know, with the cold weather or the very hot weather. I don't know what it's like down there throughout the year, but you know, why should people check it out?
Yeah, so our ballpark is CHS Field in Lower Town, St. Paul. I love the intimacy of the ballpark. One of the things about our ballpark, and when it was built in 2015, so it's not that old.
Okay.
Um, you're never further than 100 feet from the playing surface in any seat in the ballpark. So it's got a
Nice.
yeah, it's got a real intimacy to it. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about it. It's a beautiful ballpark. They did an incredible job with it, and so we're one of the top 10 drawing teams in all of minor league baseball over the last 5 years since we joined AAA.
Hmm.
And there's no better place to be, honestly, in the summertime than in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You get some great weather. I mean, you gotta grind through the winter. Yep,
Hmm.
there it is. You gotta grind through the winter. Um, to get to the beautiful weather in spring and summer. So it's a great place to hang out, and I'm fortunate to broadcast 150 games overall and 75 of them at that beautiful ballpark.
What about road games?
Um, I think my favorite ballparks on the road. I love going to Columbus. I like the
Okay.
city, and the ballpark's nice, and I think they're one of the top two or three drawing teams in all of minor league baseball. I love Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a great city as well, and they've got a beautiful ballpark too. I would probably tell you those are my two favorite. We haven't gone to a lot of ballparks. I think there's like 8 ballparks in the International League that we've still not traveled to.
Yeah.
So there's that. We're crossing over playing in the Pacific Coast League team this year, just like we did last year. So in May, we're headed to Las Vegas to take on the Las Vegas Aviators,
Okay.
which is the Oakland A's. I should say Oakland; they're no longer Oakland, but the Athletics.
Almost.
Yeah, just the Athletics AAA team. So we're headed west for the first time in franchise history, and I'm looking forward to that. And then on top of that, in August, I think it's August 11th, we are taking on the Iowa Cubs, which is the Chicago Cubs AAA affiliate, in the minor league version of the Field of Dreams game. So we're playing at the Field of Dreams.
Oh,
Yep, we're playing at the Field of Dreams on August the 11th. So I can't wait for that game. That game's going to be extremely exciting.
sorry, excuse me. And what team was that you're playing?
The Iowa Cubs, so the Chicago Cubs
Okay.
AAA affiliate. Yep.
That's crazy to play at
Yeah.
the Philippines. My goodness. Hello, can you hear me still? Sorry.
Yep.
Um,
I'm good.
I was saying that's great, crazy the Iowa Cubs play on the Field of Dreams.
Well, they don't play there. We're just playing one game there. So
One
they
game,
play, yeah, they play in Des Moines. But this is a special game, and then 2 days later, the Twins are playing the Phillies at the Field of Dreams game. So it's a special game that Major League Baseball puts on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember last year, but Major League Baseball played a game on a NASCAR site,
Yeah.
and so they've done the Field of Dreams game a couple of times, and they're going back to that this year. And this will be
Uh
the
huh.
second iteration of a minor league game being played there. This will be the third major league game played there.
Okay. I'm glad that minor league baseball is getting involved
Yeah.
as well. Um, and I'm and I really like the Field of Dreams. You know, like they did. You know, for the first 2 years back in 2021, and I believe 22 as well. But
Hmm.
my favorite one that they did was that ballpark that was a tribute to Willie Mays. I forgot what it's called. But that one was my favorite that they've done. You know, outside of Major League ballpark games, that
Yeah.
is. um, but do you call road games as well, not just home games?
Yep, that's where I'm at right now. We're in Toledo, Ohio, so I'm actually in a hotel room in
Yeah.
Toledo. So yeah, I do all 150 games. I've done over 2,000 games in my career with the Saints. I think I've done over 2,700 games overall in my career. So yeah, I'm fortunate enough to go on the road and broadcast the road games too.
Yeah. Of course. And um, how do you prepare? Like, let's say it's the morning of an evening game at 6 o'clock or something, and it's time for first pitch. What do you do to get prepared on that same day?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of different things. Everything from specific notes on individual players, which I do a lot of research during the off season so that I can be prepared and have less work to do during the season. I'm looking for trends. I'm looking for specific stats. I'm trying to get some intel on the starting pitcher. What they throw, how often they throw it, things of that nature. I'm going down during batting practice, talking to guys. I'm doing a pregame interview with a player, and and I'm putting my scorebook together. So you're doing all that, but at the end of the day, the game on the field dictates what you're going to talk about. We
Yeah,
don't script anything, obviously, and so you're broadcasting the game itself, and that's big. That's the big thing.
yeah. And is there um particular resources that you use to create those notes or whatever?
Yeah, I like Fangraphs, Baseball Reference. We also Major League Baseball's got its own stat site that if you work in baseball, you can go into the back end and pull up a bunch of stats.
Yeah.
But those are probably the three that I'll use the most to pull whatever I want. And I have a
Hmm.
couple of great broadcast assistants that are excellent at pulling up stats if I can't figure it out. I'll turn to them sometimes to help me look something up. But yeah, that's kind of what I use.
Do you listen to any podcasts or radio shows as well?
Like sports wise, you're talking about baseball wise.
Both.
Yeah. To be honest, the only one I listen to, the only sports podcast I listen to, which is surprising because I'm a huge sports fan, it's a podcast called Gleeman and the Geek, which is this Twins specific podcast. Uh,
Okay.
and the reason I listen to it is because I'm so busy during the baseball season and so entrenched in our team and what's going on that it's hard to always know what's going on with the big club. And so I love listening to their podcast because I can get information that
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to get just because I'm so busy with my stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like I said, I'm a huge Dodger fan. I don't listen to a Dodger podcast. I don't listen to any other sports podcast. That's it.
Okay. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, but only one sports podcast, and that's it.
And how do you keep an eye on, the Major League Twins games? Do you have like a TV in your booth or whatever for that?
Yep. So I've got a subscription to MLB.TV plus the Twins broadcast, which is a separate one. So I can tune in when we're not playing. Obviously, if we're playing, I can't watch another game as well. But like
Hmm.
yesterday, they played an afternoon game. We played a night game, and so I was actually down in our manager's office watching about 3 innings of the game yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'll do that and check in. But again, it's hard to watch a lot of other games. Sometimes when you're prepping, you're in the broadcast booth and you're prepping. We'll have other games on, whether it be the Twins game or another major league game on while we're prepping.
Yeah.
To have some background noise and have something going on. But overall,
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of time to lock in on a bunch of other major league games.
Understood. And speaking of games, as concerned, I see that you're on Fox Sports North Channel 45, which is the channel that your team airs on, right? The
Yeah, yeah.
KSTC TV.
Yeah, so we used to do games on Channel 45. This year we're on the CW and Fox 9 Plus, which Fox 9
Okay.
Plus is just a sister station of the big Fox station in the Twin Cities. So we broadcast about, I think it's 32 games on those on CW and Fox 9, and then the rest of them are on what we call the Saints Broadcast Network, which is
Yeah.
cable access channels in the area. So all 75 of our home games are broadcast on TV.
Okay. And what was your like doing the? I'm assuming the AAA 2008 All Star Game.
So I did the American Association All Star Game. So AAA
Okay.
doesn't have All Star games now. So when we joined AAA, it's just like a 4 day break. There's no All Star game.
Yeah.
But I think I did. I'm trying to think how many All Star games I've done. When I was in Fort Myers, we hosted one, and I think we
Oh.
hosted three in in the American Association as an independent team, maybe four. I can't remember now. But I enjoyed those. I enjoy seeing the best players from a league get together and playing a game, and all the festivities that go on around that. So I enjoy doing the All Star game. It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
100%. Um, and what was it like? I wanted to ask this one about the Illustrated. What was it like working for them? I'm assuming because that's what I see on your bio here.
Yeah, the Sports Illustrated thing was just I didn't work for them, but like we got coverage in Sports Illustrated for a bunch of promotions that we've done over the course of time. So
Okay,
so my job also is, along with being a broadcaster, is a media relations director. So it's my job to get us coverage, and so I was able to get us some coverage for a few different promotions we've done in Sports Illustrated. So.
okay. And tell us about the podcast that you did for a few years, the voice behind the voice.
Yeah, that I thoroughly loved. I did that. It was like 4 or 5 years. The pandemic pretty much ended it, but it was me sitting down in person, chatting with play-by-play broadcasters from the four major sports and
Nice.
college. And basically the idea was, these voices as the ones that bring the game into your home, but what do you
Yeah.
actually know? What do you actually know about them as a person? How they got started, how they got to where they are, some of the funny things that happen along the way, some of the interesting things that happen along the way, and that's really what it was. And I loved it because you get to sit down face to face with people. I sat down with Doc Emmerich, I sat down with Joe Buck. Um,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, it just there were so many, and so many of the guys that are the local home team broadcasters. Um, it was tremendous to be able to sit down with people and just talk to them about how they got into the world of sports. And then the best part for me was after the interviews were over, just chatting with these people and picking their brain and having them give me some tidbits here and there. They were great.
What was it like on figuring out how to get in touch with them?
So I would just reach out to the media relations directors for these teams and to set these up, and then the national guys. Um, I just I utilized the contacts that I had because I was interviewing all these broadcasters, and I would be
Mm,
like, "Hey, do you have, Sean McDonough's email, or do you have Doc Emmerich's, or do you have Kevin Burkhardt?" Who Kevin Burkhardt and I worked in the same league back in
mm.
2001, 2002 when I was in Allentown. He was in New Jersey,
Oh,
um,
nice.
so it was great to catch up with him. So yeah, so that was fun. I mean, the national guys were a little harder to get in touch with,
Yeah.
but I was able to track some people down, and yeah, it was a great time. I loved that podcast. But the pandemic ended it because guys weren't traveling anymore, obviously,
Yeah.
and then when everybody started traveling again, I just was at a different point in my life, and I just didn't have the time to put into the podcast anymore. Um, if it was the only thing I was doing, I would love to pick it back up, but my life is a lot different now than it was then. Obviously, we're a AAA affiliate, so we play a longer season. It takes a lot
Yeah.
more work for me to get ready. I'm now married, so I don't want to take away from
Congrats.
my wife who also works in the world of baseball, but don't want to take away
Oh,
from the time that we have, uh, by going out and doing these interviews. So yeah, but it was a thoroughly enjoyable time.
what does she do in as for a job?
Yeah, she works for the Minnesota Twins. She works in their corporate partnership activation department, so helps follow through with the corporate partners um, yeah,
Okay.
and she loves. She's been there for over a year now. She's doing an amazing job. She's killing it. She's going to far surpass me in terms of how successful she is in this game, and I'm excited to see where her talents take her, and I'm just going to ride her coattails. So that's the big goal for me.
Of course. Um. So, do you for those who want to check you out, do you do every single home game?
I
As you
do. I do
mentioned.
all.
Okay.
Yep, every single one of them. So all 150 games. Yep.
And where can people find you to watch those games?
Yep. So the easiest way is the Bally Live app. Every minor league baseball game is free on the Bally Live app.
Yeah.
You can also tune in on radio. We're on an iHeart station. So if you're not in Minnesota and you can't tune into KFAN Plus, which is 96.7 FM, you can go to the iHeart radio app and just search for KFAN Plus. Don't search for KFAN because that's the big boy station in town. We're on the sister station, so KFAN Plus 96.7 FM, and they can check us out all year long.
All right. And where can I also find you on social media?
So Twitter and Instagram. So Instagram, it's just my name, Sean Aronson, SeanAronson, and on Twitter, it's the Voice BTV. So the Voice BTV, which I started the Twitter account for the podcast, The Voice Behind the Voice, and so my handle
Yeah.
is the Voice BTV.
All right. And is there anything else that you wanna promote before I you forget regarding
No,
okay.
No, nothing to promote. Just happy to be in the business. Happy to be doing what I've been doing for 26 years, and hoping I can do
26.
it for as long as possible.
Yeah, and is there like is there a dream job, that you want to achieve with the experience you have going on right now, or this is the dream job that you always wanted?
Look, I love my time with the St. Paul Saints, but like I said, everybody's dream is to reach the major leagues, and so my
Yeah,
dream job is a job with a major league team full time, and I'd be excited to take any one of the 30 teams or 32 teams if they expand.
that's
I'd be
yeah,
happy to go wherever.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting with the expansion teams because
Yeah.
that's gonna be like what year did they say they were? I don't know. I I thought they said a year where they're gonna do that, but I can't remember if they actually announced
Yeah,
it.
I think there's got to be a vote for that still, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Well, without further ado, that'll be it with this interview, and I'll be right back after this.
Are you looking for the most fun entertainment on YouTube? Then welcome to the Network 3000. We have game shows, vlogs, live streams, podcasts, live shows, sport videos, gaming videos, plus more. Subscribe today. We hope you enjoy the Network 3000 on YouTube.
All right, everyone, it is now time for the next Dear No Dear Jackpot game. Please welcome Lafferty. How you doing, Lafferty?
Hello.
Are you ready to play Dear No Dear Jackpot here tonight?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's begin. And here we go. And welcome to Deal or No Deal. To win big at this game is going to take a lot of guts, a lot of luck, and of course, a great sense of timing. Before we start the game, let's bring in the cases. Game, please. And here we go. Alright, so in this game we have 26 cases holding different amounts of money inside. The biggest amount in one of those cases for this game is a jackpot of $50 million. $50 million, and it's going to go all the way down, and you can increase the amounts to 1 penny. So, pick a case to keep that you think has a jackpot.
I'll pick case number 8.
Alright, here we go. Hopefully, case number 8 contains $50 million. But in order to determine that, we're going to open up the other 25 cases. And in those cases, it's not in your case. So start by picking 6 cases all at once, starting right now.
I'll pick case number 6.
5 more.
And case number 20. Case number 12. Case number 13. Case number 3.
1 more.
Case number 15.
Let's start with number 6. So 3,750.
All right.
And number 20, one
Oh,
million two hundred
oh
fifty
shit.
thousand. Number 12. That penny.
All right. That was close.
Number 13. Oh, 25
Oh,
million.
no. Darn it.
Number 3. 1,250.
Yes.
And number 15. Oh man.
Oh. Oh, well. It could have been worse.
The good news is $50 million is still in play. Here
Yeah.
so far. And now, let's see what the next big offer is. For the first one up, $1,060,000. Deal or no deal?
I'll say no deal.
No deal, okay. Five cases all at once, starting now.
Okay, I'll pick case number 18. Case number 16. Case number 2. Case number 26. And case number 25.
Let's start with number 18. $15,000.
All right.
Number 16. $5 million.
Well, it could have been worse.
Number 2. $50,000.
All right.
26. So open the case. $5,000.
And the last
And number
one.
25. $50.
Yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Now let's see what the second big offer is tonight. Yeah, 50 seconds to make a decision of $1,106,000. Deal or no deal?
No deal.
No deal. All right, 4 cases now.
Okay. Case number 21. Case number 9. And case number 7. Case number 5.
Okay, let's start with number 21. Sorry, 50,000.
Okay.
Number 9, open the screen. 37,500.
All right.
Number 7, for 20 million.
Oh, shoot. Oh, boy.
Number 5, open the case, please. $500.
All right. Well, that was close.
Okay. Offer number 3 coming up. $2,984,000. Deal or no deal?
I'll try one more time. No deal.
Don't forget, the jackpot is still in play. You want to give that jackpot away. So my advice is keep on going until there's no safety net, and of course the jackpot not in play anymore. Great
Okay.
case.
Anyway, let's pick case number 17. And case number 4. And case number 19. Let's hope
Number
for the best.
17, open the case, please. $25,000.
All right.
Number 4, open the case, please. $20,000. And number 19, open the case, please. $2,500. That was a great round. And that means the jackpot is still in play. Alright. I assume you want to continue on anyway, despite the sex offer. I mean, you have a pretty good chance here right now. $6,254,000. The jackpot is still in play. $50 million. Just remember that. Deal or no deal.
No deal.
No deal. I don't blame you right there. Especially with the jackpot still in play. Now you have 2 cases to open.
Case number 11. And case number 14.
Alright, number 14, open the case, please. I mean, that means $10 million.
Well, could have been worse.
Now, number 14, open the case, please. $500,000. Jackpot is still in play. With a next big offer of $8,007,000. I assume we want to continue on still with the jackpot in play.
No deal.
No deal. One case at a time now for the rest of the game.
I'll pick case number 1.
1. Open the case, please. Oh!
Oh, shoot. Oh, I shouldn't have picked that. Darn it.
It's not in your case. But the good news is $15 million is still in play. That is a whole lot of money for you to leave here. But we decided to continue on after this next big offer of $3,061,000. Deal or no deal?
I'm going to be honest. I think I'm just going to take the deal.
Okay. $3,261,000.
That was a really great game, though.
Yes, it was.
I just didn't want to go any further. That was enough.
But however, was it a good deal? Because you still got $50 million up there. So if it said no deal, the next pick would have been what? And you also wanted to get rid of the $3,750,000 as well. So if we said no deal, your next choice would have been what? Aphrodite?
I'd pick case number 10.
Okay. And it has. Okay, that's the first step.
Yeah.
$3,750,000 with the next big offer would have been. And went up a little bit more. $3,537,000. But that still is below the $3,750,000. If you said no deal, your next choice would have been what?
Case number 24.
Number 24 would have had $10,000. Your next choice would have been, your next big offer would have been $6,125,000. If we said no deal to that, your next choice would have been what?
Case
22 or
number 23.
number 23, okay. Number 23 would have had $250. The final offer would have been $8,662,000. If we said no deal to that, we have to see if your number 8 has a good deal inside. Number 8 contains $15 million.
Oof.
Not a good deal, but you still had a good game,
Yes.
and that's what I meant. Thank you all for watching. I know you on next time.
Thanks for having me here. Like I said, I just couldn't go any further. I was scared about taking more risks. So,
I don't blame you.
yeah.
I'll be right back. All right, here on the second interview for today, please welcome Adam Turnerino. How are you doing, Adam?
Hey, what's going on? Thrilled to be here and just talk sports, talk broadcasting, all that good stuff.
Yes, indeed. And from what I've seen, today is your birthday, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
There'll be a point where I'm maybe bashful about saying it, but 37 today. Can't wait.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What are you doing today on your birthday? Nothing?
I once we wrap, I'm headed into Boston, and I got ACC Network Plus. I got Boston College and UConn baseball coming up this afternoon.
Oh, okay. I did see you did some UConn stuff, but I didn't know like what sports you do for them.
Yeah, yep. So I had UConn softball last night, and it's funny. I'm actually I'm working for Boston College today. So even though it's BC against UConn, yeah, it's still it's under the Boston College umbrella this afternoon.
Okay. Are they at home or away?
Yeah, it's up at Harrington Athletics Village, so at BC.
Okay. So tell us on how you got into being a big sports fan and into broadcasting.
Yeah, that's I think that's a pretty logical question for broadcasters, that we did grow up, generally just loving sports, and at some point having the realization that we weren't going to be the athletes on the field. So how could we stay involved? How could we scratch that itch? And for me, you're absolutely right. I grew up in Massachusetts. My hometown is Franklin, Mass. So that's on the Rhode Island border, about 45 minutes south of Boston, and grew up a diehard Red Sox, Bruins, Celtic, Patriots fan, and just loved consuming everything I could involved with sports. And so when it came time to get into high school and move on to college, I was lucky that I had a couple of high school teachers that thought, hey, you should try doing the broadcasting, maybe sports information, something along those lines. And I really took to it and went to University of Connecticut. And as an undergrad, starting in fall of 2007, just got involved with student radio there, did it for 4 years, and then I embarked on my professional journey once I graduated in May of 2011.
And what was the first job since then?
That first job out of college was an internship. So it was with then the Pawtucket Red Sox. They've actually since moved to Worcester to be the Worcester Red Sox. And I was a broadcast intern under a guy, Dan Howard, who was the radio voice of the Cincinnati Bengals and University of Cincinnati Athletics, and a guy, Steve Hyder, who had been the longtime voice of Syracuse. And so I got to learn for 2 summers under those guys while I was still in college, and then used that opportunity to leverage my first true gig out of school, which was to be the number 2 broadcaster for the Lakewood Blue Claws, which is the single A of the Philadelphia Phillies. They're now the Jersey Shore Blue Claws, but a lot of the people that I worked with in 2012 are still there. And it was an incredible summer.
That's cool. And as for the pod dogs, what was it like doing that job? Did you do like every game of the season, home or away, or like how did you do that?
For Lakewood in 2012, it was home games only. So it was a 140 game season. I did 70 home games on air, and then was in the studio when the team was on the road. So I was running everything there. When I was with the PawSox, just prior to that, I was an intern. So it was home games only, but I was
Okay.
in the booth and just sort of didn't have any on-air opportunities with Pawtucket, but got to learn through osmosis by watching two really talented broadcasters do their thing.
What was the players that you saw coming up that became all stars today?
For back in 2010 and 2011, there really weren't that many. I mean, there were some rehabbers that came through. So Mike Lowell was an awesome guy that came through as a rehabber, and just as a great person. It was when Jared Saltalamacchia was acquired in a trade and was kind of figuring out defensive stuff with the Red Sox. Honestly, there really weren't any guys that went on to be notable Red Sox players, frankly. But then in 2012, it was single A with the Phillies, and it just shows you how hard it is to make it up the ladder of minor league baseball, where, we had a guy, Aaron Altair, who had a couple of stints with the Philadelphia Phillies, Mike Franco, third baseman, who played a bunch in the big leagues with the Phillies and then the Royals. So, those are kind of the two guys even then that ended up making it. And then, 2013 on, when I was with the Yankees for 8 years, that was really when, I got to see some big names come through.
And what affiliate with the Yankees?
It was 5 years were with the AA Trenton Thunder, where I was
Okay.
the number 2 broadcaster that first year. And then 4 years I was the number 1 broadcaster. And then the final 3 years with the Yankees was with Scranton Wilkes-Barre with the Rail Riders in AAA.
So I assume you didn't see Aaron Judge at that time, or no? Or you did?
Absolutely. Got 60
Oh, you
games with
did?
Aaron.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he was tremendous then, an incredible person. He, the story I like to tell is that, back then in minor league baseball, conditions have improved a bit since I was there. But, we kind of all piled into one bus in AA at the time. And Aaron was 6'8", 280 pounds even back then. So he was given his own row, which is to say 2 seats next to each other, but he sat behind me. So I got a chance to get to know him, but really more than that, I didn't have the opportunity to recline in my seat because he was folded in half behind me in that row. So there were a lot of overnight bus trips to Erie, Pennsylvania, where 3 a.m. I'd wake up and I'd have to be, I'd be sitting straight up and down, not able to recline because Aaron was in the row behind me.
What year did he got drafted? Because I know that he got called up in 2016, so I lost track. What?
Yeah, he probably, so if I had him in 2014, 15, he was probably a 2012 guy and made it to AA in about 2 years, 2015 then. So yeah, he, it wasn't the quickest ascent. And I think people forget that when he made the big leagues for his first cup of coffee, at the end of, he played 20 games or whatever it was, he had a 50% strikeout rate going into the off season, and, went on to have a historic rookie of the year season. But there were a lot of questions surrounding what Aaron would be the next year. And obviously he's turned into who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people think he's a Hall of Famer right now. And if he continues that way, he will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I mean, just the pace he's on, he's going to get to 500 home runs so fast and just blow past it. Yeah.
So what other teams that you do nowadays here in our area, that is?
Yeah. Being located in central Massachusetts, I'm about 45 minutes, excuse me, from UConn. So do a lot of stuff with UConn, like you mentioned. Just had softball last night for UConn, and we'll have 3 softball games coming up. Saturday morning, I'll be on the call for Harvard rowing, which is bright and early on the Charles River. do stuff for Northeastern as well. And then a fun new piece for what I do is with NBC Peacock, and had a chance to get involved
Oh
with their
yeah.
team this year, doing Big East basketball, women's basketball specifically, and got a hand in the women's Big East tournament down in Mohegan Sun, splitting play-by-play there. So it was an awesome year one with NBC Peacock, and even had an on-air role with the Olympics. So it was you wait and you wait and you never know what opportunities are going to present themselves. And this year with NBC, it was as good as anything I could have hoped.
Did you got to the chance to meet Bob Costas or no?
I did not. I was not
Okay.
overseas. Yeah, I was down in my on-air role was down in Stamford. I'd say about 80% of the on-air talent was down in Stamford. So it was really cool to float around and be around a lot of people. But a
Yeah.
Bob Costas, a Mike Tirico, Kenny Albert, those guys were all overseas doing kind of some of the bigger role stuff. A Bill Spalding was over there doing speed skating. And so, yeah, it was a few of them were
Yeah.
over there, but a bulk of people were in Stamford.
Yeah. And NBC is doing a great job bringing back basketball and baseball. Did they ever do hockey? I don't remember them doing hockey.
I believe they did. Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny. In my mind, they did. I have like
Yeah.
a memory of a New York Rangers game on my TV growing up, but maybe
Okay.
that's 20 years removed. I'm blurring
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah. But NBC Peacock, they do a great thing, bringing those sports back because they really need it. To not just have football, they need to bring back other sports as well. Um, but
And even Sunday Night Baseball now with Jason
yeah,
Benetti, and my Sundays have been a little busy, but I can't wait to dive in the coming weeks and really enjoy what he brings, because he's unbelievably talented. That's an incredible get
yeah.
for NBC.
I heard some news. I think it came out yesterday or the day before that they ran into a problem, even though Um, they have players representing the teams that played that night. Uh, they don't have any experience. What's your take on that? Because I saw an article that said, NBC Sunday Night Baseball ran into his first problem regarding uh, those players representing those teams have no experience.
In terms of being the analyst role alongside
Yeah,
Jason. Yeah, and
yeah,
I it's not going to be a perfect thing. So I, from our time in overlapping in minor league baseball, I've gotten to know Jason, and there is nobody smarter or more capable at
okay,
handling this. And what I mean by this is kind of a novel experiment where it's a bit of a traveling roadshow where every Sunday night, it's a new city, it's a new team, and NBC is leaning into local analysts. So, yeah, I think there's going to be bumps in the road. This is something new that has never been
yeah,
tried before. It's always been, play-by-play analyst. This is the Sunday night crew. This is the marquee crew, whether that had been
yeah,
with ESPN prior to that or now NBC. And they're bucking the trend with that. And they're saying, all right, let's try and do something different. And again, there is no smarter human being who is a play-by-play broadcaster than Jason Benetti. So just based on that, I have all the confidence knowing that he's going to figure it out. NBC will figure it
yeah.
out, and it was not going to be perfect from the start, because anytime you try something for the first time,
Hmm.
it's going to happen. But I'm sure any concerns that people have moving forward, that
Yeah.
everything's in the right hands with him and Sunday Night Baseball.
I think it was something that needed to be needed because that way there won't be any biasness with certain analysts. Like I'm talking like you know talking about teams that they don't follow all year long. That's what I mean. Like you
Yep.
have the play-by-play announcer that mostly does this team and then calls sometimes other games, but like what if they play like the Pirates, but people don't really watch the Pirates all the time. So they need that someone to to talk about the Pirates because a lot of people don't know their young players. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And I agree. And I think that that's the brainchild of all of this, is that it's, hey, we're doing this traveling road show. Let's not go in and pretend that we know as much as Pirates fan, right? If you're a Pirates fan and you're watching a Sunday night baseball game, there is nothing more frustrating than when you're watching a national broadcast of your team, be it the Pirates or whoever you're a fan of, and the broadcast is kind of glossing over some of the finer details, because you as the fan, you're invested. You watch 162 games or most of the games, and you know all the details. You know who's lurking in AAA, maybe that could use a replacement player for a guy who's struggling. And it's just hard as a guy who parachutes in, as a broadcast team parachuting in, to become experts of a team for one day. So I like, and again, that's where I like the concept, and I'm willing to, see how it plays out. And I think the concept is pure in that sense, where NBC just wants to get experts on the broadcast. And I think this is the way of doing it. And, again, some weeks it's going to be imperfect, but I love where the concept is of like, okay, we want people that know the most about these two teams in front of us on the broadcast. And this is one way of trying to make that happen.
100%. And how did you get to make Jason, by the way?
Yeah, just being in the minors, it's a smaller community, and we had just connected honestly online during that time. And he's been an incredibly gracious mentor of mine over the years. And, I could not be more grateful and indebted to him for the improvements that I've made, because he is somebody that made sure I wasn't taking my foot off the gas, and just always trying to find ways to improve.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, he does the Tigers full time, and then he does Sunday night. So, do you know any other broadcasters on like Major League Baseball teams that you got to know over the years?
I do. Just so I run a nonprofit that's kind of tied in with Major League Baseball. So I do have a lot of, friends and people that have kind of come up through the years with me. Even though I'm not doing Major League Baseball, like an Alex Cohen, who's now one of the guys with the Chicago Cubs, and does stuff for Marquee. Just had his first couple of games of the year with them earlier this week. Mike Monaco does stuff with ESPN, but also a Red Sox guy, and he's a Massachusetts guy who was in the minors when I was there. So, it's just that's honestly one of the most fun parts of this, is seeing your contemporaries have success, and just sort of, even on the basketball side, like a John Fanto, like we were calling, one-off softball games together 5 years ago, back when we were both doing stuff for the Big East. And now he's off being one of the most beloved voices in college basketball. So that's, as much as anything, like, as much as you want success for yourself and you want the most success as fast as it can happen, it's also really, really fun to see your friends have that kind of success as well.
What I agree. And speaking of college basketball, do you do UConn basketball when you play?
So our broadcast team it's a veteran group on the radio. So no, I do some fill-in stuff when schedules conflict, but no, Mike Crispino and Wayne Norman, they've been on the call for a while together on the men's side. And, they are encyclopedic with their knowledge of UConn. Wayne has done UConn games for over 40 years. So it's been, it's a blast to hear him pull references from the 1980s when you go, man, I can't believe, he was around at that time, but it's just, he's been around long enough to kind of make those references.
What do you think of March Madness this year?
Absolutely loved it. If we're talking UConn, we're talking the Braylon Mullins shot, and that is just a seminal moment in March Madness. And Alex Caravan had talked about, because he's the one that passed it back to Braylon Mullins, and Alex is he has graduated from UConn. He is ready to move on to the NBA. Is probably projected to be a second-round pick this year and begin his journey. And he's talked about the fact that he is such a basketball junkie that he can't wait to be 45 and on a couch somewhere watching March Madness and just know that clip's going to come up. every year. When they show highlights of the greatest moments in March Madness, Alex is like, that's one of them. And, it's one thing for him to have made 3 Final Fours and won 2 national championships. But I think every player, looks at that kind of shot and thinks, man, how cool would that be to be immortalized? And Braylon is immortalized. Alex passing it up was immortal like that. It was just an incredible moment, an incredible comeback. And, selfishly, you hope that UConn would have been able to pull off the huge upset over Michigan. But that was a pretty darn good Michigan team. UConn had a heck of a game plan. And couple whistles, couple of bounces go the other way, and UConn would have been right there at the end. But, it didn't work out. And 3 Final Fours in 4 years isn't such a bad spot to be.
Yeah, so that's a UConn Hall of Famer right there. But, did they retire numbers, right?
Yes. Yep, it's Huskies of Honor. So his number is in the rafters, so to speak. UConn has had a litany of success. And so the standard for retiring a number, though, is you have to be in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. So there's only one men's basketball player whose number is officially retired, and that's number 34, Ray Allen. And the women's basketball program is going to start running out of numbers pretty soon, because the era of Diana Taurasi finally retiring and Sue Bird being eligible and all these, Maya Moore, Brianna Stewart, it's coming. They're going to be a lot of Hall of Famers on the women's side, where the women's team is going to be running out of jersey numbers pretty soon.
Yeah, that's also a great team over there as well. I have to see what the WNBA draft is going to be like this year. Did it just started?
So UConn had a player taken in the 3rd round, Sarah Williams, the center who transferred into the program from Wisconsin, and AZ Fudd was taken number 1 overall. So just to, she gets to link up with Paige Beckers again down in Dallas with the Wings. And that'll be an incredibly fun storyline over the next couple of years, is seeing how those two pair up in the backcourt for Dallas and make things happen down there.
Now, did you get any information why the Connecticut Sun had to move to Houston?
No, and it's a point of frustration for sports fans in Connecticut and New England. I mean, college basketball runs through Connecticut, and I think that there are fans that just are frustrated that the team wasn't allowed to stay local. From what has been made public, ownership group in Boston and Connecticut made offers that seemingly had more money available to it than Houston. But the Houston Comets are one of the original teams in the WNBA. It's one of the 5 largest metropolises in the United States. So the population is there to certainly support a team again. So, I think everyone's hopeful that an expansion team soon enough will be awarded back in the Northeast. Yeah, either Boston, Connecticut, somewhere. It's deserving of one.
Yeah, I think there will be, because the W has been amazing since Quentin Clark has entered, which I assume he's fully healthy right now, or is he still injured?
I think so. Yeah, it's funny. I was just doing a little research on women's basketball this morning, just to cross my T's, dot my I's, and looks like she's ready to go.
Okay. And now, as for the games that you do, what type of research, like you just said, that you do, like what websites for certain sports that you use, and how often do you study for games?
Yeah, it's hours, and it's the best part of it. It's the fun part. I've got UConn baseball against Boston College baseball this afternoon, and just finding those nuggets and just being able to tell stories is the best. And, this game that I've got coming up this afternoon comes on the heels of a meeting between these two teams down at UConn earlier this year, in which the two teams combined for 45 runs. The first game was 26-19 baseball game. And so it's, there's going to be so many stories to tell. And Nick Wang of Boston College, he had a 3-homer game, and just all this all this stuff that we're going to be able to tell stories about. And so for me, like being on the radio, being on television, that's great, but it's because you get to show off the knowledge and the expertise of the storylines and like seeing moments come to fruition. That's the fun part. And, you know, just as much as it's, my family gets to turn on ESPN Plus and I'm there today, but it's all the stuff that goes into the prep that really makes the job fun.
I agree. Now, have you been to with you being in Massachusetts, have you been to Polar Park? And what do you think of it?
Yeah, I love Polar Park. I think someone who worked in minor league baseball for 10 years, I think the only part of it that is a little kind of eye-opening is, and fans have made note of this, that like the concession prices aren't minor league friendly concession prices. They're a little more akin to a professional, a major league type venue. Short of that, the ballpark's incredible. It's beautiful. It's well constructed. It adds an extra layer of activity to the second largest city in New England. Worcester's larger than Hartford. It's the heart of the Commonwealth. It's just a special part of the state. And so getting to go there and having called games there and getting to work for the Woo Sox a little bit in a filling capacity, it's been awesome. It really has been.
And how often do you fill in for the games?
Yeah, probably not as often as I should, just because, I work in sports. So, I'm working every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The times when people go to hang out and watch a baseball game, I'm usually busy. But having worked for Scranton Wilkes-Barre, they're in town in a couple of weeks. So I got a couple of days circled where I'm going to go hang out with my former broadcast partner, Adam Marco, up in the booth and just enjoy some baseball up there with him. Yeah.
All right. And is there any other jobs that you're looking into for the rest of this year that you want to play for?
It's funny. Right now, I'm about 8 days away from defending a thesis at a master's program at UConn. So I'm actually excited to be taking that job off of my plate this year. It's been a long 2 years working through a master's degree at UConn, and it's been incredibly rewarding. I have 200 students that I'm teaching this semester. But next August, I'm actually really excited to have just the broadcast stuff back on my plate. So it's almost more exciting to kind of turn back into a full-time broadcaster in August once college sports pick back up.
Okay. And I forgot to ask this earlier. Do you listen to any podcasts or radio shows to get prepared for certain games?
Honestly, I listen to a ton of podcasts. Almost none of them have anything to do with sports. And it's because I think that you can learn a lot about storytelling. You can learn a lot about speech and delivery and all the things that are important about broadcasting without necessarily having to dive in and listen to, with no disrespect to Bill Simmons or whoever, any Colin Cowherd podcast and like all these podcasts that are so big for sports fans. But like for me, listening to people tell really captivating stories and figure out sentence structure and just learning vocabulary and just all these different things that you never know when it's going to be applicable to a broadcast. That to me is, again, a little more holistic in my approach to consuming podcasts. And it's a little different because I think most people would assume like, you must listen to all the sports podcasts and, you must always have ESPN on. And the reality is no, I don't always listen to sports podcasts. And when I'm home and watching TV, it's usually Food Network or HGTV because sports is my job. And so my entertainment usually falls in a different bucket.
Yeah. And do you have you done any other, you've done play-by-play, but have you done any other different jobs for sports in the past?
Yeah, my stuff with UConn radio, a lot of it is sideline and analyst work and filling in studio stuff. So I definitely have some things there. But, for me, I'm really fortunate where I'm 37 now, and I've been able to narrow my focus over the years and at a point where play-by-play is the majority of what I do, and it's what I love to do. So it's really been, it's a great point in my career to have gotten to.
Okay. And before we end this year, is there anything else that you want to promote and where can they find you on social media?
Social media, I'm most active on Twitter, Twitter X. So it's my name, Adam Giardino, which you see on the screen right there, Giardino.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to get more up with Instagram, but I still feel like I forget to post there as much as I should. So
Mm.
it's that's kind of the best place for people to engage with what I do. And UConn athletics. Oftentimes, if you're flipping through ESPN Plus and there's a game on, usually that's going to be me. So can't wait to loop in some more listeners and viewers and keep calling great action here in the Northeast.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I don't know. I
Okay.
mean, I have a YouTube channel that just lives for my demo tape, but nothing that
Yeah.
podcast, nothing like that I'm actively updating.
Okay. And without further ado, that will be it for this interview. All right. I want to thank everybody for watching today's episode of the 3000 Hangouts. I will see you all next time. Bye bye, everybody. Have a good night.